Subscribe and hit the bell icon and never miss another video.
Sort of fundamentally alters the way that you think about yourself. It's something that I've learned how to manage a lot better. I'm happy in my unhappiness.
Hi, this is Malini, and this is a very special episode of Malini's Girl Tribe. And I think you're talking about something in your book and with your foundation that people just don't address. So first I want to talk to you about the book, and I really love the name, that I've never been unhappier, because it's very private and you're a very private person.
Yeah, I am, but I think it just actually completely came about by accident. All from a post that I did on Instagram in 2016 when I talked about depression for the first time. I was having a bad day and I just decided that instead of posting things that were not real, I was just going to try and talk about how I was actually feeling and see what came of it. And as soon as I did that, I realized how many people were going through something. It doesn't have to be depression, but everyone's going through something of their own. Yeah. Pain is a part of human life. It's part of the fabric of everything, and so everyone's going through something. And I realized how little we actually talk about it. Yeah. And I think I'm really very strongly of the opinion that the more you share, the better off we all are, and vulnerability is really important. And so that's kind of why I decided when I got the chance to write about this that I wanted to.
Yeah. What I think is so important is that the pain that you felt is so real, and that it physically and emotionally hurts. So one, I'd like to know where are you on this journey? How far have you come, and does it still hurt today?
It hurts, yeah. I mean, I've realized for me the depression is chronic. For a lot of people it's acute, they go through it for a couple of months and then they get over it and it's fine. But for me it's been something that's come and gone quite regularly. It's something that I've learned how to manage a lot better because I've had a lot more practice with it. It's something I've learned how to deal with a lot better actually since I wrote the book, because just the process of writing the book I think taught me so much about myself, because you try your best not to think about them, you push them away, you don't want to relive those things. But I had to forcibly relive those things. I had to forcibly find lessons in those things. Yeah. And I learned so much from it that it's actually really helped me. I mean, it's still a struggle every day. I tell everyone it's not like I have it down pat. There are days that I forget everything that I've learned. There's days I'm completely consumed by it. But what I'm noticing is that the bad spells are getting shorter and shorter, and the good spells are getting slightly longer. So that's nice.
You said you were diagnosed at 18, and how does that even happen? How did you know?
It was something that had been happening to me since I was 12. Obviously at 12 I didn't realize what was happening. Yeah. And I kept it to myself for a very long time because I thought that it meant that I was weird. I think especially when you're that young, you internalize it. The internet wasn't where it was today. Right. So I didn't have access to the kind of information that would have immediately struck me at 12. Right. Medical jargon is not exactly something that you're going to look at 12 and go, oh, that's totally me. The vocabulary of the information has changed now, so it's more relatable. So I had no idea what was happening, and I think I hid it for about 5 years until it got to a point where it was very bad and I was suicidal. At which point I realized I had to tell someone because it had taken on a life of its own, and I was not fixing it. Clearly, whatever I was doing was not working.
It takes a lot of courage to go and talk to someone at that stage.
Well, I mean, thankfully my mum she noticed that something was wrong and sort of prodding me for a while to go and meet a psychiatrist or a therapist. But I kept saying no, I'm fine. It had very strange connotations of what it meant if I went to a psychiatrist. I was like, I'm not crazy. I can do this by myself. And I thought it would be weak if I couldn't figure it out on my own. So I finally realized I had to talk to her though, because it was just not working otherwise. And literally the next day I was sitting in the doctor's office, and that day they diagnosed me with clinical depression. I didn't believe it for a while because to me I was like, it's too convenient an answer almost, because what depression does to you is it sort of fundamentally alters the way that you think about yourself. And because I'd been living with it for so long, since I was 12, and that I just didn't fit and there was something wrong with me, so somebody saying, wait, there's something else, I was like, no, that sounds too convenient. I'm just broken. I actually truly believed that I was broken. It's taken me, I think, until maybe a couple of years ago to actually go, okay, no, this is depression, and I can fix it and I can work on it.
So tell me about this book.
I mean, I wanted to talk about depression from a hopeful place almost, and because I think I've gotten to a place where I've realized depression has given me a lot. Because having to go back and, look for the lessons in it, I've realized that it's given me quite a bit, which I didn't see before that. And so I've never been unhappier with the in brackets basically is about acceptance. It's saying that I'm happy in my unhappiness. I've accepted it. I understand it. It's my roommate. I live with it. It visits from time to time.
Yeah.
And we've sort of made friends. We've made peace in a way.
Do you have like a piece of advice for people who are struggling with it and maybe are not comfortable going to therapy?
I mean, so for me, what really helped me, I didn't talk to anyone for a very long time, but I journaled. I wrote like crazy.
Yeah.
So I have my journal entries in my book as well because that's actually primarily one of the ways that I dealt with it. You have to get it out of your system somehow. So if you're not talking to someone, you have to talk to something. So for me, I wrote and I talked to my journal. But I would definitely say, even if you can't talk to a therapist, find a friend, find someone that you trust, find someone that you feel will not judge you.
From a perspective of someone who's dealt with depression, what is the right thing for people to say? Like, is there a right thing?
It's really hard. There is no right thing. But what I always say is don't give advice if
Yeah.
someone hasn't asked for it. Despite meaning very well, everyone wants to give you an opinion. It's all very nice, but if someone wants advice, they will say, please, do you have any ideas? Can you tell me what to do? So I'd say don't give advice because we know it all. We've read about it. We know everything.
Yeah.
All they really want to hear is you saying, I'm so sorry that you're going through that. That sounds really hard.
Yeah.
And, you're doing so well.
Everything's going to be okay. And then, I can't predict that for you, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know, is that the right thing to say, or don't say things like it's going to be okay?
I'd say honestly don't, because to someone going through depression at the time, nothing's okay. It's not okay. It's very clearly not okay at that time. So saying it's going to be okay is sort of presenting,
like
hope
making
to
it
someone who's incapable of seeing hope.
Yeah.
So it's more than anything else, I just think hearing someone and seeing someone and telling them that you see them and hear them has so much more value.
You said something interesting about how you hid it really well from
Yeah.
your family. Did it alienate you very much from everyone in your family?
No, yeah, it did. Because I didn't do a lot of things for so long. Like it was, to the point where my sister would say, hey, let's go out for dinner.
Yeah.
And pretty much every time she asked me 4 months in a row, I'd say, no, I don't want to go out. Your family can love you very much, but eventually, it does start to grate on them as well, because they're just trying to connect with you and you're sort of saying, no, I can't do it. And so I always say that being depressed is hard, but loving someone who's depressed is also hard. Because it takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of patience as well.
Here Comes the Sun. You put up a post about how it was born from a simple idea and that we're not alone, none of us are alone in our struggles, and I really like how you put all of this.
And so Here Comes the Sun is about, yes, creating community. It's about providing information, whatever information we can, information the right vocabulary. So it's not, again, we're not giving you medical jargon. So even if it's in the form of a little comic or, something like that, you can't find a therapist, we'll provide you with a list of therapists. We'll try and, we'll tell you what hotlines to call. And eventually to expand to like doing a lot of on-ground work. So basically it's just we wanted to create a safe space for people to come and be able to talk, ask questions, talk to each other, talk to us.
So there you go. This is an amazing episode for the Girl Tribe. Thank you so much for sharing all your pain and your stories. And I know this book is really going to resonate. Make sure you get a copy and tell us how you're feeling. The Girl Tribe is always there for you. So you're never alone.